Hey guys, and welcome here to patch 8.16 notes breakdown. My name is Benvarmeren, as you probably know if you are on my YouTube page, and well, patch 8.16 just came out last night. I was at work, so I couldn't do anything about it. Now it is 8:30 in the morning, so I was thinking, well, let's do it. So let's jump into it. So first off, we have next Blitz alpha test. Not that I care that much about it. I'm more interested in the champions. So Aatrox on patch 8.15 has still been a fairly strong pick. So what they've done to him is E passive healing against non-champions decreased, charges granted on learning E decreased, R cooldown increased at earlier ranks. So I think that it's fine to take some of the charges away from the Umbral Dash, because that will reduce his power just a little bit. Like, it's not necessary for you to have so much mobility as a Tryndamere. So not a Tryndamere and Aatrox in the early game. And therefore taking some of that away is good. I think this might be a little bit overkill, because that does take away some of his identity from his last form before he got reworked. I think, however, this is like the right choice you can make to increase the time of World Ender. I think that's probably the best one you could do right here, just to knock him down just a little bit, because I think this might just be a little bit, I wouldn't say redundant, but at least a little bit overkill. Fizz. W damage ratio decreased, R damage ratio decreased. Okay, so yeah, they buffed him quite a lot in the last patch, which meant that he just got so very strong. He didn't see a lot of play in pro play, but he did see a lot of play in solo queue, if I remember correctly, or at least had a bit of place in there. So knocking him down just a little bit. I'm happy to see that they're not knocking him down completely. There's only what like 0.1 ability power at every instance, so I think that's fine. I don't think it'll make that big of a difference, to be honest. Like, here it's .05 ability power, here it's .1. I don't think that's gonna make that huge of a difference, to be honest, but a little bit of a difference it will. But I still think that he will have his newfound proficiency in the game because of him having higher AP ratios. Hecarim. Q base damage increased at later ranks. Q damage ratio increased. So yeah, he hasn't been very good. Currently, Hecarim has been very lackluster and hasn't really had any damage to work with. So increasing his rampage will make him stronger in the early game, and I think that might just be something that could help him a lot. I still think that in terms of like early game junglers, he's not gonna be the go-to guy. Like, you'd still much rather have the Elise or the Lee Sin, or even a Graves or a Kindred. So those 4 picks are still going to be much more viable than the Hecarim. But if you want to have a snowball champion that can have a lot of tempo advantages and get a lot of tempo, well, then Hecarim might just be your guy. Orianna, base magic resist decreased. I hadn't had the idea that Orianna was too strong. Like, the whole idea about Orianna is that she's going to be able to survive through the laning phase. So I don't think that you necessarily need to shut down her magic resistance. I can see why it would give some people an edge over her to have that magic resistance shut down just a little bit. But I just hope that they're not going to go overkill on her, because if they take away too much of her magic resistance, well, then she will just become a weak mid laner, which you definitely don't want. Not in the meta where it is, where she actually found her place and where she is a good niche pick. She will have trouble against someone like Swain and Vladimir from now on if they keep knocking down her magic resistance. And well, even 4 might just be a the swinging momentum for those picks of let's say the Zoe Vladimir Dryas Swain picks. Quinn, attack damage growth decreased. Okay, so yeah, Quinn. I haven't seen a lot of Quinn. I've seen her in one game. I VOD reviewed that yesterday. That was Gen G versus Freak of Freaks, where it was Keen, playing the Quinn, and well, he did super good on that one. I don't know how I feel about this, because I don't feel like Quinn is overpowered in any sense. I don't think she's even close to the tipping point. I feel like she's a very niche pick, and she worked in the series that I reviewed yesterday because of her going up against the Javan. So I don't think that she's necessarily overpowered. Yeah, I guess it's fine to try, but like it's not going to make that huge of a difference, and it just feels a little bit redundant. Rakan, health and armor decreased. Okay, so this is something I can understand, because Rakan has been super strong in the bottom side, and you need to have some way of playing against this guy, and making him more high risk, high reward in the laning phase is going to help you with that. And he has a lot of durability coming in from his Q as well, so I actually think this is a fine change coming into this Rakan. Will it knock him away? No, he's still going to be super strong. He's still one of the best engages that you can get in the entire game. Talia, movement speed decreased, W cooldown increased at earlier ranks, R wall no longer grants vision. So okay, so I think this is fine. I think this is what kills it for me, because right now you're nerfing jungle Talia, and it makes sense to put this on a bigger cooldown, because it has such a huge place in the early game. It really has a gigantic involvement in every gank, in every fight. So I think that it's fine to put that on a bigger cooldown. I don't like this, because a lot of her identity as a jungler and as a mid laner is just that she can roam. And now if you take some of her movement speed away, obviously she still has her passive, but I think, and it means that you have to use your passive even more, but I just think that her movement speed is one of the bigger factors for how she's played and what makes her fun. So I don't like that they're taking that away. This makes sense. Like, I don't see why it wouldn't give you vision in the first place. That doesn't really make that much sense to me. Still going to be an okay jungler. Like, she still has huge clear times. She still has a lot of damage to work with. It's just that her seismic shove now is going to be a little bit more of a tool that you have to consider for every instance and figure out whether or not you think that it's going to be worth it. Trundle, Q-based damage decreased at later ranks. Q damage ratio increased at later ranks. Q attack damage sap duration decreased. Okay, so they're making him so that if you want to be able to deal damage, you have to go more for AD. I can follow that. I think that, especially in the early game, he is a bit of a too good of a duelist. Like, he should be somewhat of a hybrid between a tank and a duelist. So I think that it is cool that they're making this change. I just hope that it doesn't kill him entirely, because you wouldn't want to go for a warrior and a Titanic or a Ravenous Hydra, because that would make you too squishy, especially come the 20-25 minute mark where you want to have tankiness. So they have to walk a fine line with this guy, but I don't think that it's going to be completely overkill, and I think that it's going to make him just a little bit weaker. Tryndamere, E cooldown increased at later ranks. Well, it hasn't been increased by that much, but like, I haven't seen a lot of Tryndamere. I've seen him being played a lot more ability power wise. So obviously I can see why that would be a problem with the spinning slash. But besides that, I don't think that he needed to be changed that much. Like you've only seen him be played ability power. Like he doesn't even have a place in the current meta. Like he can be a super good split pusher, yes, but he's just such a big niche pick. So people, they tend to not pick him. Wukong, Q base damage decreased, Q damage ratio decreased. Crushing blow. Okay, so that's something we've seen from Caps in the LCS. He's been super good at assassinating people with Wukong. Yeah, makes sense to take away some of the burst damage because he shouldn't be that safe as they're writing here. Like he shouldn't have both dash and invisibility. So yeah, makes sense to take away some of his burst damage, especially in the early game where he can abuse it very easily. So a passive damage decreased decreased at later ranks. So at all ranks, W damage ratio decreased. So passive, that's an auto attack, right? Yeah. Yeah, I don't see a problem with the changes. Like, she has been super good. I think it's still like it makes sense for you to remove the damage from her auto attack and her passive, that is, and her spell thief when like her two main core abilities are the Q and the E. So that makes sense, and I think that it might just tone it down a little bit, especially because she is a super good pick right now in the current meta. Like she is definitely top 4 amongst Swain, Rise, and Vladimir. Tanks. Okay, tanks haven't been feeling so hard in recent patches, so we're taking this opportunity to put more durability in the kit. Okay, so that's more armor and magic. Oh yeah, more armor and magic. Yeah. E passive now scales with bonus armor and magic resistance. I like that. I don't think that's bad at all. I think that will help him just a little bit. Leona. So how many tanks have they touched? Okay, so it's not a lot. So you have W cooldown decreased at later ranks on Leona. You have W base shield decreased slightly early, increased at later ranks. W maximum health skin decreased at later ranks. W duration and cooldown decreased. Ramos W bonus resist increased. Sign W health gain increased. Tom Kench Q slow duration and cooldown decreased. W duration decreased at later ranks. W cooldown significantly increased. W mana cost decreased. W cooldown now halved on enemy devour. Okay, so generally the idea is you want to give them more resistances and more durability in throughout the game. I like the idea. I think that it will help them just a little bit in terms of at least having a place in the current meta. I don't want them to overbuff the top laners, because then you will just come to a point where tanks will once again be able to 1v1 every AD carry. I'm a little bit surprised that neither Ornn or Maokai has actually been touched in this patch, because those two guys, I wouldn't say that they're having trouble durability wise, but they could use a little bit in terms of damage, just to be a little bit better in meta. So in terms of handling their own in the laning phase. So I think that could be a way of going around this, but I don't mind these changes at all. I think they're fine. So runes. Okay, burst runes. So you have Somnari base damage decreased at early levels, base shielding increased at early levels. I think that's fine. I really dislike, as an AD carry main, I hate going up against a Soraka, a Morgana, a Janna. I hate going up against those guys because they always run Ahri, and it's just so easy to abuse that rune. So I think it's fine that you take away some of the damage and put it on the shielding, because that is what it should be. It should be a 25% damage and 75% shielding. Base damage decreased, damage ratio decreased. I hadn't seen a problem with electrocute, to be honest. I've seen a lot of junglers run it, but I overall didn't see it being a big problem at any way. So I don't completely agree with these changes. At least the cooldown has been lowered too, so it's able to be used a bit more. I think that makes up for it in some senses. Celerity, movement speed conversion into adaptive stat decreased. A lot of AD carries have been running this. I think this might just be a little bit overkill. I like the fact that you're able to use the bonus movement speed that you get into getting attack damage, because that's all AD carries are about, just getting more and more attack damage and streamlining their stats in order to deal the most amount of damage. Like, I understand that it looks prettier to have 6 and 10 instead of 16 and 9.6, but a little bit unnecessary in my opinion. Cheap shot, base damage decreased at early levels. Yeah, sure. Sudden impact, lethality, and magic pen decreased. I don't think you needed to change that as well. Like, there's not a lot of assassins in the current meta, and if you tone down some of these assassin runes to sudden impact, cheap shot, electrocute, well, then they will not find a place, or at least not have a place in the meta at all, especially since you're also buffing up these tanks. Scorch, base damage decreased, cooldown decreased. Again, unnecessary, I feel like. It makes up with the lowered cooldown, but I don't like them touching a lot of these runes. I think that runes in itself, they were fine. Like, they're trying so hard to change the runes every time to make it so that the game gets new identity every time that they're patching. But I just feel like these sudden impact, scorch, and cheap shot is very redundant, and they didn't need to do that. Okay, heal, cooldown decreased. Yeah, I don't mind that. 2 points. What's that? This is what, 3.5 minutes, right? So this is 4 minutes. I like that they're reverting the heal nerf that they did in patch 8.6, because like seeing marksman primarily and supports running teleport feels bad, because it shouldn't be used in the bottom lane. It feels like I would much rather see AD carries focus on being able to stay safe, because that's all the AD carries are about, maximizing their damage output. Like, I don't mind seeing teleports on mid laners. I think that's fine. You've seen it on Vladimir and Swain for a long time. I just don't enjoy seeing on the bottom side, where it should be all about making sure that the AD carry survives. So I like that they're changing this, and it might just give the incentive back to the AD carries to use it now that it has 3.5 minutes of cooldown instead of 4. And then we have a load of skins. Not that I care that much. Okay, well, this has been patch 8.16. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Overall, I think that it's a fine patch. Like, it feels like they're making a lot of small changes that is not going to have a big impact on the game. I like that they're trying, but it just doesn't feel that right. But with that being said, obviously find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Follow me there, like this YouTube page too if you want to hear more from me, and obviously I'm trying my best to upload videos. Sometimes it can be a while between every video, but that's obviously because I am working. I'm busy with all kinds of other stuff. But with that being said, thank you all for watching and have a great day.